Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. I'd like to introduce everyone to a new friend of mine from England, merry old England, XRP Dave. We're kind of continuing a conversation that we started previously, but we wanted to go a little bit further into things to be able to get his understanding of where we are, where we're going, and how excited he is about that. One of the first things we began talking a little bit about uh, crypto maximalist attitudes. And I thought it might be kind of interesting for everyone if we sort of talked a little bit about the video that I believe many of us have seen today by Tone Vase and his little 2 minute spew of ridiculousness. So I like the way, Dave, that Sam I Am takes apart people like Chico Crypto when they say things that they don't know what they're talking about. So I thought maybe it might be kind of fun if we sort of did that. How do you feel about that?
Oh, I'd love to do that. Absolutely love to do that. Chico time.
Okay, so Dave, here's my first question for you. Why does Tone Vase call it Ripple Coin?
um, right. Do you want the nice answer or the nasty
Hey,
answer?
this channel is unedited. You can say whatever it is that you feel like
Oh,
come from you. How do you feel, and why do you think Tone Vase is saying Ripple Coin?
well, I mean, when you're so heavily invested in something that you're quite passionate about, i.e., Bitcoin, like the problem is he just basically wants to go down that tunnel vision, and I don't know if he's going to scam people or take this to truth. And by all means, mock me, feel free. Like, I've got no problem. Like, I don't know if he wants to scam people. By the way, he's actually blocked me because probably he can't handle the truth. Like, the problem I have with people like that is, oh, there's so many things that just popping in. Bear with me. The problem I have is the maximalists have gone down their agenda where banks are going to use Bitcoin. They want to take over the world. 5 years ago, Bitcoin was probably poised to take over the world. I mean, what's it gone? Let's be honest, right? What's it gone? It's gone from being, yes, we're going to take over the world, to actually, we're just a store of value. And they're not even that. I mean, we talk about XRP, or in his view, the Ripple coin going down 20%. But let me remind him that Bitcoin actually dropped 50% when the virus pandemic hit and the stock markets tumbled. And obviously, they've been going on about, well, Bitcoin's a store of value. This is meant to be a hedge against all the financial stuff, which I still believe probably is. I mean, crypto in general. But to argue, to have the audacity to argue that Bitcoin or XRP, sorry, can drop 20%, but Bitcoin can't, I think it is disgusting, absolutely disgusting. And it's just basically ignorance to probably prop up his own investment. They probably want to clear off when the fool's next buying their coins. Like, what does this store of value? I don't buy this store of value argument. I mean, I just don't buy it. I mean, yes, the price could hit 100,000, but like, if people can't actually use the system, people are going to be throwing their money at something, they're thinking, well, I've just lost $10 by sending a transaction. What's all this about? Where's all that? Where's all that gone? And like, I was watching Sam I Am's video on things, and it just makes me think. And I was watching more of the decentralized thoughts. And the more and more I read into it, the more I think this is just an absolute scam, absolute scam. And they have the audacity to talk about XRP being, oh, well, Ripple centralized. Well, no, not really. Do your research, because some of the stuff on the XRP ledger, I can't remember what it was off the top of my head, but there was an amendment. The checks amendment. The checks amendment got through the validators without the approval of Ripple. And that, I think, was done deliberately on Ripple's part to prove that they don't need to be a part of the system. That is the first of probably many that's going to happen. And even so, I mean, that was a fantastic moment for me. And even then we get the I think one of the articles that going, well, there's an amendment that's going on that Ripple don't approve of. This is a disaster. And it's like, no, it's not at all. Like we're damned if we do and we're damned if we don't, because they just don't like the fact that XRP is ready and could potentially, in my view, will take over the world. And they hate that. They hate it because it's everything they're against.
And Dave, one of the other jewels that I heard in that 2-minute extravaganza of ignorance was
well, comedy. It's comedy, isn't it?
Yeah, he's funnier almost than Nagabo, which is one hell of an accomplishment. But what he said is that Ripple has been trying to, now think about this real slowly here. He said that Ripple is trying to distance themselves from XRP. Well, it's supposed to be decentralized, you moron.
Yes. Hang on.
So Dave, think about that in reverse. It's not centralized. Well, then it's got to be decentralized. Of course, there is a separation between Ripple and XRP. I mean, that's one of the dumbest things that I ever heard anybody utter about crypto since I've been in this about 3.5 years. I mean, I was flabbergasted. And then the other thing that he's talking about was the flash crash the other night. What crypto the other night didn't go down? And Dave, newsflash, I bought into Bitcoin. My first purchase in the space, 2017, $15,000 price, right?
Nice.
You know what happened 3 months later?
Yeah.
I didn't hear Tone Vase coming in and saying, hey, it'll be okay. But I mean, of course, the market goes like this. That all of them do. I mean, what kind of level of stupid do you have to be at to say something like that?
It reminds me a little bit. It reminds me a little bit of all this court case that's going on. They bought XRP on a high after it went up 10 times, and then it drops a little bit. They're like, "Oh, I'm losing my money," you know, like everyone else has. It's just like, get over it. You bought Bitcoin. You made money on Bitcoin. Congratulations. I will shake my hand if I could meet you. Congratulations. Then they moved from an unregulated coin and moved and bought another unregulated coin. And then all of a sudden, they now realize that they lost on that trade. They want their money back. And like, it's just so pathetic. It really is. It's just so pathetic.
I hear you. So Dave, what kind of a background did you come from? And are you, if you feel comfortable telling everybody what your employment is now, what you're doing, and
Sure. I'm very passionate about what I do. So like, that's why I'm here. I'll talk about pretty much anything. Like, again, like for me, I'm a web developer. So I've been through university. Tech often comes naturally to me. I've grown up with computers from probably the age of 3. Always been tinkering, fiddling around with bits and pieces, and grown up to love them and become the person that I am today. So obviously for me, it felt natural to progress to university and go down the tech route. And like I say to many people now I've just discovered crypto. It was like when I was like 6, probably 4 or 5 years old, probably like 6, about the internet when that first come out, sort of like mainstream, like 97 as far as I'm concerned. Now I wasn't aware, but it was a new thing. I was like, oh, this is cool, that I can go online and save pictures and print them off, and like, you know, this is the battle of Google and other things. I mean, I was going on Google, MSN, I have my own email account and all this other stuff back in the day. And like, I feel that crypto for me is a little bit of nostalgia of that moment that I enjoyed in my childhood when I could escape to the internet, not from the internet. And I feel that crypto is a little bit alien to most people, and I just love that about it. I absolutely love it. It's just passion. It just absolutely is in my passion. I always say, well, crypto's in my DNA. Like, I don't have any tattoos, but like I probably would have an XRP one if it does well, or same with a couple of other assets, because it feels a part of me. And I hate the things. But what got me into the mental mindset of what I am? There's a documentary that I recommend anyone to watch. It's called Thrive. Now, basically, they were talking about like all the world's problems. They explained things like Tauruses and other things. But anyway, the whole idea of that argument is they identified all the problems that are currently in the world, and they're not saying like this is a solution, but they're saying this is how we could go about it. This is what could happen if we just change as a society. And one of the things that actually woke me up as well was like decentralization, and like crypto being this. It's like, yes, this is possibly, if it's done correctly, could be one of the steps to free up humanity, where we don't necessarily have to be stuck in this banking system, because they know that if one person, shall we say, upsets somebody, like they know they're just going to move over to one of their friends, and then one of their friends has probably been upset with them, and they're just in this circle. Like, they need a shake up. And basically, it would be nice if we can just have something where we can have our own bank accounts if needs be, or maybe that the system can change and we can remove bad actors. So goodbye 2008, goodbye all these other things. And this is basically what my passion is. Not fixing the world's problems, but web development and crypto.
And so from a technical standpoint, when you were originally looking into XRP and evaluating that for yourself, how did Ripple rate in your mind from a technical standpoint, since you've got that kind of a background?
Sure. That to me is what I drive my passion on, as I said probably earlier. It's about congestion. So I mean, you could have the best system in the world. I mean, Ethereum's really good for smart contracts, but unfortunately, their record's wearing thin. The needle's about blunt now, because we keep hearing, oh well, with this upgrades come in, and things are going to be here. I think it's Casper, if I remember right, though I couldn't think of the name. Oh, Casper's coming. Oh, this is going to be great for Ethereum. Like, I was looking at this at 2017, I'm like, Vitalik's a great kid, he's gonna do something. And it's just like, here we are 3 years later, and they're still talking about the same things they were 3 years ago. Meanwhile, Cardano has left. The developer Charles Hoskins left Ethereum, gone to make his own token. Look, Shell is here now. I mean, that's quick. I mean, VeChain was an ICO on the Ethereum platform, the smart contract platform. That's now gone and made its own thing, which is even better than Ethereum itself. I mean, Binance, the BNB token, that was an ICO. Like, again, they went on to their own chain. Chainlink, that's an ICO. They're supposed to go on their main net, but I'm not too sure. I haven't quite sussed them out. But the way that I see things is, to me, Ethereum just seems to be that stepping stone. Like, everyone wants their own control. So like, for me, all this ICO is just like, great, we'll sort of hit the ground running, but we'll make our own token. So I mean, the next craze is DeFi. Well, I mean, why can't I not just use XRP or Bitcoin if it was quick enough? Like, why do I need a token? Is it because they've got different utilities that they offer? Well, what exactly? Because like, if Ripple's struggling with all the legislation and things, then damn sure DeFi is going to as well. Like, yeah, if all what Ripple's done, working with regulators from day one, goes through all that. And I mean, yeah, I mean, back to the technology point, you can have the best system in the world, But one, are people going to use it? Are people going to stay and use it? Is it sustainable? And like, what's the future of it going to hold? Because like with XRP, 1,500 transactions a second, in my opinion, is a damn sight quicker than what's being offered at the other end of the spectrum. But Visa does 50,000 TPS. Now, I know XRP can scale up to that, but from my understanding, it doesn't need to yet. So they haven't bothered putting the extra stress on the system because there's literally no point at the moment. I mean,
Right.
I haven't looked, but I imagine it's running on a what, 40 transactions a second, which is still a damn sight more than Bitcoin. I mean, we at the moment we don't need scaling issues, which is why I think we've got the regulatory issues instead. Like the Bitcoin, because it's slow, they fight amongst themselves. We're all unified. Like David Schwartz says, the best incentive's no incentive. And the fact that we're so focused on where we want to be, we could just plow like that. But what they do, they deliberately slow us down because they know that if they carry on like flooding us and slowing us down with regulatory uncertainties and all these pathetic lawsuits, like it gives them a chance to catch up. Like that is literally how I see it. And it's just basically the government's way of just slowing things down. We know it's going to get lifted. We know the brakes are going to get lifted soon. It's, to me, I just see the regulatory stuff, which I can't believe we're still asking the same questions from a few years ago. I mean, things are starting to ramp up now, but I mean, that's basically why things haven't taken off, is because the regulatory uncertainty, and it's done to slow the system down, not from a development point of view.
But so from the technical end, then it seems like then that you felt very good about what David Schwartz and Arthur Brito and Jeb McCaleb all brought to the table.
Absolutely.
And how they have developed it since. And did you do any? Did the team that Ripple had together, the people, the not their technical expertise, but their business sense of how to run a company and to bring a startup, up to life? Did you look into that, and were you impressed with what you saw there?
Well, it didn't take. Basically, when the bull run happened, I had very little XRP at the time, and I sold not all of it, but quite a bit of it. And I see it back at 30 cents. I'm like, why am I listening? This is back in August 2018, and I'm like, I've missed out on Spotify. I was a beta tester for Spotify. I seen the potential in Spotify. So I have the confidence in myself to believe that certain things can take off. And I'm just sitting there, like listening to DAI at the time. I'm just sitting there thinking, what the hell am I doing? Like, what am I doing? Am I just going to let this thing go and regret it when I'm older? I'm like, no, I can't do that anymore. Like, I'm done. So I decided, like, right, that's it. I'm buying XRP. And it, like, I mean, obviously it was a good move back in the day. I've got quite lucky, but I looked at it. I'm like, I can't, like, I can never forgive myself seeing what happened with Spotify, then making the same mistake with XRP. And going from the technical side of things, it then got me to actually think, right, what is Ripple actually doing? And that's when I learned about the banking system. That's when I learned about what Swift is. So, like, I keep hearing all this stuff about Swift. So then I looked it up, like Swift, that sort of thing, because that's what I do naturally. I like to research. And I've learned that actually there's all the Nostro and Vostro accounts, which are like relationships with the banks. Like, there's 20 trillion of locked capital in there. Now, I'm not suggesting that all that's going to go in XRP, but what I'm suggesting is if you can free up that capital somehow, right? And XRP, in my view, is one of the best solutions to do that. If you can free up that capital, the banks can invest that money that's stagnant into other things. And we're not just talking about banks, we're talking about stock markets. Like, we literally, potentially, all the money could be into XRP.
Yeah.
All of it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd like to think there's going to be a couple of others just in case if something happens, and other things like XLM, for example. But all of the money is, in my view, is going through blockchain, because you can track it, you can trace it, and it's all about automation. So for example, like, I can't say, hey Google, send me a payment to a friend in Australia at 2 o'clock in the morning. But if they automate the process somehow, it is possible. And the most easiest way to do that is basically making the same standards, which brings me on to the shipping container of crypto, ISO 222, which there's only 2 coins that I'm aware of that can do that: XRP and Bitcoin. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Bitcoin's utterly useless. Utterly, I hope I made someone jump off their seat there. And just check.
Oh, don't worry, Dave. We can edit the mistake out of the video.
I did it deliberately. Believe me, I did it deliberately, because banks are going to use Bitcoin. Would Bitcoin follow ISO 222 standards? No, absolutely not. Keep it in, honestly. I did it deliberately, I can assure you. And XDC is ISO 222, which I've got some of that just in case. And XRP is ISO 222 compliant. That to me is a fact that it's happening. That is a fact that it's happening. Now, the fact that Bitcoin, Ethereum, and all these other diphtheria tokens, as my friend calls it, he calls it diphtheria. I love that. I go diphtheria. All these other tokens are just, they're not ISO 222 compliant. So, like,
right,
for me, like, if it doesn't fit, it ain't going to be used in the system.
right.
It's like, if the hat fits, wear it.
And so do you believe in the business sense? I get you love the technical part of what the boys are doing, but do you feel like that Brad Garlinghouse has got the know-how in the background to be able to move a startup ahead?
Absolutely. Now, I'll tell you now, I would not be sitting here if I wasn't passionate about XRP. Now, technology is just one of the many things that I consider. Technology, use case, ability, and adoption, basically. Obviously, we've got the regulatory hurdles, but to buy, Ripple has tried their damned hardest to come up with a solution. First, it was just send XRP, which, like, well, we like the idea, but we can't. Then they went to store all the cryptos and the things. Then they actually use decentralized exchanges, and that to me works. Like, people like me, the market makers, are going to buy and sell coins at a non-profit basis. We're not being sold any shares or any lies. Talking to you, Sosak, or whatever your name is. We're not being sold or promised any extras, nothing like that. People are just buying it based on the utility that this token offers. Now, for me, if there's enough market makers, buyers, sellers, bots, traders, whatever you want to call them, if there's enough of that and someone can send money from one side of the country to another and save 80%, I've got news for you. Regulation always favors those that have tried in the past. It's happened with the internet. It's happened with cars. It's happened with the telephone. It's happened with rail. It's happened with practically the Industrial Revolution. It's happened with everything. Governments like innovation. And if they're going to stop innovation, like, if they're going to, you're telling me they're going to stop crypto innovation because they've allowed other ones to go through but not allow crypto, get a grip. That's what I say to people. It is not going to happen. Regulations are coming, and these systems will be used whether they like it or not. And I'm going to be here to tell them when all their unfortunate dreams don't come true. I'm going to be here to tell them that actually you were wrong, and I'm going to bang that drum, because these people have been taking the mick out of us for the last so many years of banks holding coins, and banks will never hold Bitcoin, or banks will never hold XRP or Bitcoin or anything like that. we're going to take on the banks, but they're going to be taking on the banks and now they want to become the bank. It's like, well, all you're doing is just shifting one power to another. You're becoming the new corrupt system which you were fighting against 5 years ago. Like, surely you change a system within, make it better. And that's why I'm here.
Good point. And Dave, what do you feel like caused? And I'm not gonna pull up a chart and take a look at it, but I'm just gonna give a range of say 10 days ago. 10 days ago, we were at 17 cents, all eating our moon cheese. You can see this. Wondering when I'm going to be able to actually eat this stuff on the moon. and then all of a sudden, whammo!
Wow.
Now something happened. Now, so you want to kind of comment on what you feel like happened and why we got the price action in the last 10 days? Until I looked at the fiat leak a second ago, and I've got 31.36 right now. So, but what do you think caused that jump from 17 to 31? And do you feel like we're going to keep going, or you think we're going to go back down to 10 cents?
Oh God, no! I hope not. I hope not. I think obviously altcoins are having their own little rally. You only need to look at VeChain, for example. That went from like 0.02 of a no point no point no 0.2 of a cent. That's it, 0.2 of a cent. It went from 0.2 of a cent to just over 2 cents. So basically a tenfold increase. I mean, what I started to see is movement in the markets. Now, in the past, usually XRP is the last to pump, but the hardest. But I think what actually started this rally was actually, oh my God, banks are actually going to hold crypto assets, and which we knew were going to happen anyway. And banks are going to hold crypto assets. You see all these, shall we say, events that have happened over the last couple of years, and like with like new blockchains coming into space and all the exchanges and ODL pairs and like Xspring Coil, the Zoom app and all these other development things. And I think the fact that the banks have now accepted crypto for what it is, or governments have accepted crypto for what it is, I think that's what started this rally off, because people are now starting to take this stuff seriously. I've always taken this seriously, but unfortunately we've got to convince everybody else to take this seriously. And I think that now that the banks are in, I think this is what's caused the little rally that we've had. Now, I think what will probably happen is I don't like price predictions, but it will probably shoot up to around about 50 cents for the time being. Now, I imagine probably sit there for a while just to test the water, and then it will probably shoot up a little bit. I'd like to see it at a couple of dollars by the end of the year. That would be lovely if we can just have some sort of like, yes, this is going to happen, not just some pump and dump scheme that happened, I believe, based on what one or two people did back in the day. I'd like to actually look at it and think this is actual real utility being used. This is real adoption. I mean, you only look at the Amazon chart in 97. I mean, it completely crashed and it stayed there for about 2 years. Then all of a sudden things started to creep up again. And it's about the same time frame with Amazon as it is with crypto. So, I mean, for me, it's got rid of all the speculators, all the people that are sold, and it's got the people that truly believe in it, at 17 cents when it was at 17 cents. So I'd like to think that because it's broke the 2.5 year downtrend, we are not going back down to them levels unless if something drastic happens. Like that's just what my view is. Obviously, people can take that as they will, but none of this leverage trading I would not recommend at all, particularly with BitMEX.
Another thing that I'd love to hear your what you feel about is our XRP Army community, and because that's another one of the things that I mean, I have just fallen in love with this community, and I mean, I don't see influencers in other, crypto communities that can hold a candle to people like, and I consider Crypto Airy to be the standard. I love that
I
lady,
love Mary.
and
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
I love To the Lifeboats. I love Sam. I
Yeah,
love Kevin Cage. I love James Rule. I love
DAI.
Brad
Yeah,
Kimes and Jungle Inc. and Love for Crypto and SPQR Lee and Crypto
absolutely.
Siege and King Solomon. I mean, I just don't see the breadth and weight in the
Sure.
influencers in the other spaces. Now, having said that, I do love Modern Investor, but
Yeah,
he's
Working
working
Money channel is nice as
and
well.
Working Money Channel's great. Dusty BC, but I don't see the other
Yes.
coin projects, Dave, that have got the community. And
Right.
again, that's something that I feel like is of value as well. But how do you feel?
Absolutely.
How do you feel about our XRP Army community?
Sure. Well, there's just one thing I want to say first, because there were I generally admit I made a bit of a mistake. Brad Kimes, like with all this kerfuffle over the swell and other things, I mean, certain things probably were a bit of a mistake, but I let it get to me too much because I cared, and I probably said some things that I shouldn't have said, and I've been blocked by Brad Kimes as a result of that, which I probably deserved it, to be fair. But if he's listening, I just want to say that, look, I'm sorry if I've said anything out of our line. I probably shouldn't have said them things, but like, if you've got the heart to forgive me, great. But if not, I can understand. So, like, I love this community. Going back into the community, I love this community. I've learned so much from this community, and that's how I've learned about the banks and the money movements and other things. And this is probably, without the community, I probably wouldn't be here right now. Let's be honest. I mean, all the information's put in front of me, when social media allow it to happen, because obviously that we can't have our own streams, but yet we can somehow have crypto scam videos that pop up, and all the other ones. It's just, again, it's just another one of them things. Yeah, it's just another one of them things what they do just to try and make to decredit crypto. um and I've seen a tweet from Michael Arrington this morning or this afternoon. He basically said we're now asking non-tech people to talk about crypto, whether it should and shouldn't happen. It's like crypto is actually the savior of a lot of things, because these centralized systems come in, particularly what happened with Twitter over the last few weeks. It's becoming more and more apparent that those companies, like, it's going to get hard for them to manage their own data. So decentralized systems, putting things on smart contracts, running decentralized social media, and other things on that, where the community decide whether we take it down or not. I mean, generally, I think that's a good idea, unless if you got the Bitcoin maximalist that's running the show, then maybe that's not so much of a good idea. But but I mean, generally speaking, I mean, I like the idea of community run things, provided that community itself isn't corrupt. And there needs to be like measures in place for that. But maybe like a scoring system or something. That's, I'm not the one for solutions, but
Gotcha. Well, Dave, I'll give a shout out to Brad. I've been kidding him lately that I love him. I've been writing that on my tweets to him, but in a way like we're playing softball together.
yeah, no, fair enough. Fair enough.
Brad is one of my favorite people, and he and Dustin Planholt were the first people that or one of the first that we ever interviewed. And I consider Brad to be a friend, and
Oh,
I hope that he will accept your apology. And
no.
if I know him like I think I do, I don't think that that's going to be a problem, because the
Cool.
thing about Brad that has been very apparent for me from the first time that I got to begin to speak with him is the guy's heart is bigger than his head. And the amount of sincerity that he puts forth in the work that he's trying to do has just been fantastic. And I
Sure.
love that he brings Mickey B. Fresh to us, and I love that he brings Cryptopolis to us. And he's really a great guy. And
Exactly.
I hope as well, since you offered the apology, that Brad will be gracious and accept it.
Sure, yeah, no, I mean it would be nice. I mean, sure, like I mean, I make mistakes. We've all make mistakes, but like even if there's things that maybe that don't necessarily agree with and that, but there was no reason to do what I did. And like again, we're all at the end of the day with the whole hoo-ha with the community splitting like over this swell thing. Like it really shows we shouldn't have been like it as a community, because look, we're all want XRP price to go up. We're all fighting for the same reason. So
Yep.
like we should all just get along. I mean, okay, it may be a little bit difficult, but we can at least damn well try. And that's how I see things. Like that's basically now, like, because I've had time to reflect on things, not just this, but other things as well. And it's like, actually, I'd rather focus my attention on banging that drum on the Bitcoin maximalists and all the things. Which, to be honest, I like it when they throw stuff at me, because it's just like, well, it just confirms everything I know. And
Yeah.
sometimes I'll just have an argument with them. It's just like, no, I'm gonna beat you down till I love it. I absolutely love it. I mean, I think that unfortunately, obviously, when Ripple got hacked due to Twitter and that, and obviously a load of others, for me, as I don't want to sound nasty, but it was the best night I had on Twitter in a long time. Like, I don't think we'll get another one of them nights again. It was so dramatic, so eventful, and it was good fun. But
and I think that we're all better together than we are separate.
absolutely,
And Dave, if you think about it, you know, where 1% of the population of the world knows about crypto and the other ones don't know anything, we owe it to the 99%
exactly,
for us to be together and to be good to each other and send out a positive, unified message to everybody.
exactly.
We can deal with bickering later. There ain't enough of us around right now that we need to be distracting each other by having, you know, misunderstandings with each other.
Exactly. And this is what makes me passionate. Like, I'm passionate about the community. I've learned so much from everybody. DAI, Mr. B, obviously Kimes, Alex Cobb, Boo Boo, Love for Crypto, Dusty BC, Working Money Channel, Modern Investor, you guys, Crypto Track. I mean, I could go on.
We could go on and on and on. Kevin Cage, Jane Poole.
I know, and Bones as well. I mean, I'm so sorry if I'm going to forget some of you guys or don't think of you off the top of my list, but there's so many of you, and that's what's a good thing. It's and Love for Crypto. My God,
I love Scott.
There's so many of them, and it's just
like I played softball with him.
Yeah, it's just.
And I ran into Crypto Siege the other day for the first time. We did an interview with him. Well, putting it out in a couple of days. Man, what a great guy! I mean, I don't know how I missed him up to now, but what a spectacular human being. So yeah, they're just, and I don't see the number of community members in the other states that I see that we've got, and I'm looking to be able to be a person that can help bring all of us together as much as possible. And just to imagine what we could do if we decided to send out a unified message to the world, I think that would really be cool.
See, I know the Bitcoin community is quite big, but the thing is obviously because we're XRP centric, we tend to get more XRP news. So we're sort of, this is why I like Twitter, because we're sort of shut off from anything that doesn't actually interest us. Now, that being said, like, I don't think that the Bitcoin community is as passionate as we are. I mean, of course, I'm going to say that because I'm in the XRP community, but like, I generally feel that there's not that passion as it is with XRP. I mean, I'm sure there's a few Bitcoin maxi channels and other things, but I think they're so petrified. And I've asked, just as going off a little bit on the side as well, I've actually tried to ask, and this is another frustrating thing. It's the maximalism that drives me up the wall. Now, I actually looked on CoinMarketCap the other day and noticed, I thought, well, now that Binance is taken over, we might be able to be in for a bit of a chance. I noticed that they had the BAT token that they support, which I love, Brave, from obviously principal, privacy, and all that other stuff. I love the actual Brave browser, but I asked CoinMarketCap, why are you supporting a BAT token but not Coil? Like, all you have to do is add a 5-minute, it takes literally 5 minutes. I know because I've done it myself. You get Coil, you get the meta monetization meta tag in the HTML, and you put it at the top of your browser, right? You put it at the top of your browser. It's like a one line of code. That's all you need, right? They said that it was not in our interest to do that. Like, these people are supposed to be supporting the crypto space on a whole. And I found it absolutely disgusting that something so simple like that they could not be bothered to do, and no one is holding them to account. I think it's disgusting. Like, if we could, I mean, badger the drum. I mean, I asked Live Coin Watch. I love Live Coin Watch. The guy on Twitter, we have quite a few funny conversations. Shout out to him, by the way, or them or her, or whoever. Shout out, because they are absolutely awesome. I asked them once to put Coil onto their website, and they did. No questions asked, no battering an eyelid. So what the hell is going on at CoinMarketCap? They didn't even take XRP donations either. And I know that was a peeve that DAI had, but if it bothers anyone else, it bothers me. And yeah, we're in this together. So we can.
And so, Dave, as we kind of wind things down, one of the things that I ask everyone that I interview is, how did you feel about coming and doing an interview with me, and why did you say yes? And was it a positive experience? Anything bad happen?
Not really. Not at all. Nothing bad has happened. Just changing the light, that's better. Nothing bad has happened at all. Like, I absolutely love this community. I love anyone that's out there that if I can add my say, my value, and prove that I was here at this precise moment in time. Like, if people can love me for who I am and the love for my tea, like, if I can add value by doing that and ranting at Bitcoin maximalists and being me, then like, I'm happy to be here. I mean, anyone that invites me on for any shows, even with the mess and other bits and pieces, if people are willing to accept me for who I am, then great. Like, I couldn't be more thrilled.
All right. Well, again, thank you, Dave. Take care, and everyone, take care and be safe. Live long and hodl.
Yeah, XRP the standard. That's
There
the
you
most
go.
important.
That's the most important. XRP the standard.